Well, it's so great to talk to you, Dr. Cloud. It's a privilege and honor to speak with you today. I have a question about one of your books. I haven't
Oh, did I
read it
say
yet,
something
but I do
crazy?
own it.
Did I say something
Sure, go
crazy?
ahead.
No, I said, did I
No,
say something crazy in the book?
I don't think so. No, no.
All right. Well, you scared me.
Um,
You scared me there for a second. So what is the question about?
so my question is this: you talk about getting your numbers up and dating, and I'm
Yeah.
32, single, never married, don't have kids, and being a millennial, I think I'm still a millennial. Dating is seen as so serious, and I hate that about it. And it seemed like it was way more common with my grandparents, maybe my parents, that dating was way more casual. You can go on a date with someone different every night and it wasn't looked down on. So,
Yeah.
how do you deal with this stigma of being seen as going on one date with 100 different women? And
Well,
it seems like
one
you'd
day
be seen as a player.
one day with 100 women, your dinner bill is going to be huge. But you mean going going out with 100 different women once? I guess is what you mean, right?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
that's right.
kind of a joke. Didn't quite work, but I think you got it. All right. So let me now. Where are you running into this stigma, Aaron? Is it in a particular community or subculture, or you get blasted in the blogosphere, or where's the stigma?
Just being raised in a certain church culture, and
That'll do it.
yeah,
Is it kind of an anti-dating church culture?
um, not necessarily.
Like, I
Again,
mean,
it
but
just goes
dating
back
is
to the
something
perception.
serious like courtship for finding a wife or something. Is that kind of the way it's looked at?
Yes,
If you're
yes,
dating, it's really
definitely.
serious. Yeah.
Yes.
That is, let me, and I'm going to back up a little bit because, you're 32, but I wrote this book. It's been a while. I mean, I hate to say how long. It has been a while. It's been more than 10 years, I'm sure. And one of the reasons that I wrote the book is it goes back even further than that. And I'm saying this so you won't feel bad that it's just now, that there's a certain, it started with, I think, um, a lot of the I Kiss Dating Goodbye and a lot of certain subculture in the church that said that dating was not something that is biblical. I remember a lady called a radio show I was doing one day. I was talking about dating. I was talking about, and to your point, getting your numbers up is what I call it for a specific reason. She goes, I can't believe you're talking about people should be dating and all. She goes, that's not God's way of doing it. I said, what are you talking about? She goes, that's not the biblical. I said, what are you talking about? She goes, God always brings the woman to the man. He brought Eve to Adam, and he always that's the biblical. I said, lady, if you want to do it the biblical way, then go have a war and just capture a bunch of them. You can have whichever one you capture, or get one of your dad's servants to go to another city and grab one at a well, pick them out. I mean, there are 1,000 different stories. And what a lot of faith communities would do is they try to act like, to be a good Christian, you got to do it this way, and then they would equate that with God. And part of this whole thing was dating is of the world, and in fact, I the author of that book, Josh Harris, he later said, that was wrong, and he did a great job of taking it all back later. Great job of that. But here's the thing, and I want you to feel um, it may be that you have to. I hope you're going broader than that little group. But here's why I said you got to get your numbers up. Is that when people treat dating as only, I'm looking for the one, and they kind of like almost won't go out with anybody if they don't think there's potential for that relationship. There's so much wrong with that. Number one, because they tend to think that they have some type in their head, and usually that type is based on some kind of defensive psychopathology, not real life or even what's helpful or what will be good. And secondly, they're not learning about a lot of different kinds of people, and they're not learning about themselves. So what I would rather see them do, and this is why as a result of the book, we've gotten, and I don't know if it's got to be in the thousands by now of letters and emails from people that said, I was like, I was like you, I was 32 and not dating or whatever. And I was stuck in this thing. And then we started doing this. And then they say, they send me their wedding pictures, like lots of people, because they got back into a normal process of not making dating about marriage, but about making it a meaningful social interaction to go out with a bunch of different people and enjoy going to a movie or going to a dinner or a museum or a park or going fishing or whatever, and getting to know people. And then you change and you grow. And then finally, somebody begins to emerge from the pack that, whoa, that's the one. There's something different there. And so I would really encourage you. Have you read the book?
I have not.
I would read it because I would want you to hear, when I say get your numbers up, I would want you to understand that in the context of what I wrote it in, because it was this one woman. It started with this one woman said she was 32 and she said, I always thought I'd be married by now, but God hasn't brought me a spouse yet. And I go, well, why are you sitting? What do you mean God hasn't? What are you doing to how many new guys do you meet every week that you've never met before that are in your demographic, kind of eligible? And she goes, well, I never meet anybody. I said, how long has it been since you had a date? She said, 3 years. I said, well, how would you ever think anything's going to happen if you don't meet people? And so I put her on assignment and told her I wanted her to have 5 meaningful interactions or conversations with new guys every week. And that got her out in the world. And then I developed this whole program about it because it gets people moving. So I would really encourage you to not get serious with too early or with the first person you meet, but get to know a lot of different people. And in relation to your group, I don't think this is a millennial societal stigma, probably as much as your little faith environment. And with them, you might say, well, I disagree. I mean, I think it's fine to go enjoy time with my friends, my brothers and sisters. We're not getting married. We're going out on a date. Would that work if you just told them as simply as that?
I think it would. And I think that it would be important to mention something like that up front, just to let them know that it's not serious.
Thank you. I mean, how big is this? How big is this church you're hanging out in?
Well, it's just part of the religious organization I'm a part of, and it's pretty large, but okay. I do feel like it is a common thing in our churches.
Yeah, it is common, but I wouldn't let it stop me. And the other thing is, there is some reality. I mean, let me give you the ultimate horrible example of this. I had a fraternity brother who was actually dating roommates, and they didn't even know it until they did. That's just stupid, right? So if this is a church group of 6, then probably not going to work. But you got to get into a large enough network where you have a couple of dinners with somebody and you hadn't broken up best friends or something. So there's common sense involved. But hey, get out of these shackles, man. Feel free to go ask somebody to coffee, ask somebody else to coffee, go to a movie with somebody. What is the big deal? And just tell them, I don't think that's a big deal. I just wanted to get to know you.
Right. I agree.
Okay. Well, take them to the Tigers game next year.
Yeah.
Whenever we get to play football again. All right. Well, thank you for your call, and good luck to you. Read the book and see if it's called "How to Get a Date Worth Keeping" for those of you who haven't heard of it, and see if that helps. All right.
I will. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you for your call.